Good evening, cruel world. It's been a while since my last post. Not a lot's changed. Some has changed. I got a possible job lined up. I'm cautiously optimistic to see if that works out. Still doing Uber. It's my birthday weekend. I'm on my way down to do some driving because I don't stop working. Anyways, I just wanted to check in and drop that little nugget as to what's been up with me for all the no people that care. And also, I wanted to just broach the topic of all these people that are young and stupid in the world. If you're looking, guys, for a girl that's worth your time and not just a garbage can, if you're not trying to buy a used car from a car rental company, why don't you just save yourself some time and money and quit with all this nonsense about lie detectors and this, that, and the other and STD? Find a girl to write you an essay about what should be taken away from Charles Dickens' Great Expectations, and then run that through Google and check for plagiarism. And if she's got some good things to say about why that book is important culturally and for relationship building, you might have a keeper. Besides, you should not be with a girl who doesn't read actual books. We're not talking about pulp pornography. Pulp pornography. That's step one. You need a girl who knows what books are and actually has some perspective on the world based upon educating herself. That's a good start. As far as her body, look, you're out here looking for 8s and 9s and 10s, and unless you're in the top 1 percentile of earning in the United States, you're not going to get it. You're a normal person. You're a regular Joe. You should be looking for a girl that's good for a regular person. Average to cute and able to make a home with you. Because these girls that are up on Instagram and TikTok and Tinder and God forbid OnlyFans, they're not going to be able to fix you a nice meal when you get home. They're going to order you takeout. They're not going to do a good job doing your laundry, and you're going to have wrinkles in your clothes. If you want a one-income household where you basically have a girl waiting for you at home, you got to make enough money to support that. It doesn't necessarily have to be 6 figures, but you're going to have to be pulling in $60,000, $70,000 a year and be either paying on a mortgage or have a girl that's okay with just living in a string of apartments. So think about that. That's why I'm still fundamentally waiting on getting back together with the girl I have, is because I find that she has a lot to offer. And even though we're not, as much as we used to be together because I work so much, I'm not ready to change that yet. And on the day where I can work, 40, 50 hour weeks and have a regular structured time off so that I can spend time on her like she deserves, like any woman deserves. I don't care if she's a 1 or a 10, if you're going to make a life with someone and be in a relationship, every girl deserves a certain amount of attention. And if you're pursuing a career, you have to acknowledge that you may not be able to provide that attention. So, if the girl feels neglected, she's going to leave. And if she's a materialist and she's basically only with you for what you can give her, she's also going to leave. Because sooner or later, as much as you might make her comfortable with your job, whatever it is, even if you are making better than 6 figures, she's going to find somebody who's going to spend more on her. And I know that doesn't always, I dated a 4 on purpose so that no other man would want her. Well, if she makes you happy and has all the skills to pay the bills in regards to building a home for you and raising children for you, then one of two things could happen. She could find independence through pursuing her own career or becoming an entrepreneur, like a lot of girls are encouraged to nowadays with that feminism nonsense. Or another man could just look at the situation and be like, yeah, she isn't that hot, but my God, this guy making all this money is treating her like a queen. She's got to have something. And then the next thing you know, there'll be a tryst, and then now you have a cheater. So it is what it is. You cannot have a long-lasting relationship based on materialism. Materialism is always temporary. Just like all the things you accumulate in this life material-wise are left behind when you kick the bucket. That's not to say you shouldn't be motivated to have a home and a nice car and these things. But you have to understand that nice things are secondary to character, secondary to values, secondary to all of the things that make you worth a damn in other people's eyes. 9 times out of 10, if you're making money hand over fist, it might have to do with your skills, but it also has to do with your interpersonal skills. And if you don't have the type of integrity and you can't put forth, the image, maybe you're full of shit, but you have the image. You have to have that foundation. So that carries over to your relationships, because a lot of the same things that you use to get over in, marketing or sales or interpersonal careers are the same set of skills that you need to find girls that are worth your time, who will also consider you to be worth their time. Women are people just like men are. So as such, just because a girl is worth your time, if you're not giving her something in exchange, her good reason to make a life with you, she's going to find somebody else who will give her a good reason to make a life with. So you got to think about that. You got to noodle on it for a while and really set up your priorities and just be honest with yourself. Are you reaching for the stars and falling short? Well, shit. They always tell you, if you reach for the stars and you land on the moon, you're in good shape. Well, that's bullshit. You're a man. And if you're not a man, then, different rules apply. But say you are a man. You got a pecker, you got a twig and berries. What you need to be doing is taking one bite at a time, chewing and swallowing before taking another bite. When you have big ambitions, you have to come up with a roadmap that leads to those ambitions that's realistic, something that you can actually obtain. Because if you set up yourself to make goals that you can never reach or just too aspirational, like I want to be president, that's no. You can think I would like to be president, but are you going to be able to have a happy and fulfilling life if you never make it to president? If the answer is no, then you've already lost before you've got underway. Now, if you aim towards the president and you're happy with landing along the way, honestly, truly, legitimately happy, okay, well, I ended up effectively in Congress. I became a congressman. I never got the presidential election, but at least I made it into office. At least I got into the legislative, branch. I never made it to executive. I might have been a mayor or something, or I might have been a comptroller, but I just never got far in the executive chain, so I pushed over to you basically, went off to the side. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, I guess being a congressperson, if you're a politically minded person, is, not nothing. It's not nothing. I mean, hell, dude, AOC is a piece of human garbage, and she was able to make it to Congress, so that kind of cheapens it a little bit. But nonetheless, still, a lot of people who go into Congress go on to be successful. And even if they get out of politics, there's a lot of career options for somebody who's actually successfully served a term and pleased their constituents for their time in office. But, a lot of you just want the title. You don't want to please your constituents. You don't want to serve anybody. Well, then you're just a lost cause, so fuck you anyway. We're not talking about you. My point is, choose goals that you can reach. And when you reach those goals, which you should always choose goals that you can reach so you do reach them, what do you do then? You don't just sit around and pat yourself on the back. You choose another goal and then try to reach that. And then life is just a process of reaching goals and setting new goals and then reaching those goals and setting new goals until you die. So obviously, if all that makes you happy is reaching goals, then you'd better be busy at it. But I would recommend that you try to build a life along the way and just have goals as something that's, a lot like a day job. Okay, well, I put waking hours into this, but I also put waking hours into myself, into my relationships with my friends, my family, my lover. Whether you get married or not, you need to have time for your life around the goals. If all your life is goals, then you're just a career-minded person, you're an executive, you're a cutthroat corporate man, you're not going to have anything other than your career. If you want a family, if you want a home, I'm not talking about a place to live, but a home. Some place where when you get off work and you come here, you can just let your belt out a couple of notches and just sit down on the couch and just feel comfortable and know that this is your space, that everything that goes on under this roof is your say. You are the king of your castle. That is something I feel is a very important goal to set, because beyond all the career shit, if all that falls through and you have to switch gears and start over from scratch, which many successful people have, there's been numerous people that they're top notch, they're in the top 1% of income, they've had to start their whole lives over numerous times, but they had a home. And when they got off work and they came there and, they took off their clothes, they took a shower, they put on their robe and settled in, they were experiencing the bliss and the contentment of knowing that the people around them at that time were in their corner no matter what. That's your kids, your grandkids, your woman, or your man if you're a woman. These are the things that matter. And as I'm getting older, I'm turning 38 on Monday, I'm starting to realize that money is good, especially if you don't have any, but it's just a part of the equation. It's just one variable among many. I think relationships are more critical even than money, because if you have somebody that loves you and you love them, even if you hit the poorhouse, you still have each other. And there's still meaning to your days on this earth. So really think about that. The antidote for all this stupid bullshit for these kids is pursuing value, and that comes from understanding old ideas and old ways. That is all.